Good morning, everybody. Oh, welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast for February 20th, 2026. Hope y'all are doing well. Coming to you from semi early on this Friday morning. Lots to be done today. Trying to be on top of some of it, but hope y'all are doing good. We've got Comic Con today. Good morning, Mr. Riley. Adeline, what's up? But got some news to get done today before I'm heading out of town for a Comic Con in Charleston for the weekend, and lots of good stuff going on with that. So just wanted to come on, do our Friday morning stuff and get together. Hope y'all are doing well. Um, Good morning, Dot. But yeah, we'll jump on to some other Faith and Fandom stuff later. But let's go ahead and jump right in. If you grew up in the my generation or older or younger, maybe, you might have heard of getting your school photos taken by Lifetouch. Uh, Lifetouch was one of the main photography studios. Hey, good Miss Lynn, good morning. Lifetouch was one of those main photo studios that took everybody's school pictures. And Lifetouch has officially been removed from our school photo system because the founder of Lifetouch, um, Leon Black, one of the founders, is in the Epstein files. And they didn't think it was a good look to have the dude who's primarily responsible for taking all of kids' school photos be in the Epstein files. And there's probably some sinister stuff that's going to come out later with that, but yeah, that's a whole thing. Um, Craziness. If you have traveled down I-85 in the uh, South Carolina, North Carolina region, you've seen a giant rebel flag slash Confederate flag over I-85 that's been flying for years. A federal court has ordered that that flag be taken down. There's a similar flag flying at like mile marker 75 on 95 as well. And I think the same people that petitioned to get I-85's flag down are in the process of petitioning for I-95's flag. Now, to my understanding, these flags are on private property, but they overlook the interstate, and there's a whole deal with that. Um, but that is something that is going down. Uh, Stephen Amell, the former Arrow lead actor, is heading up another reboot slash spinoff. If you weren't aware, after the cancellation of Arrow, Stephen Amell went on to do a Suits LA series that did not land. It got canceled after one season. And now Stephen Amell is about to head up a reboot on Fox of Baywatch. Um, Baywatch has survived a dozen reboots, a Rock and Zac Efron movie, and a million other things. Maybe it'll survive Stephen Amell's current trajectory. Stephen Amell can do some really great things. His wrestling show, Heels, I think deserved a little bit more love, but it was just a weird place that it came out. Um, yeah, so Stephen Amell, Baywatch, that's coming. K-pop Demon Hunters is officially becoming part of Dungeons and Dragons. In the upcoming 5e source book that is coming out, it'll be listed as Idols of the Neon Dark. So, hey, Kelly, good morning, bro. Good morning, Tristan. So now people that think Dungeons and Dragons are evil and people that think K-pop Demon Hunter is evil can now be friends. Yay. Um, but K-pop Demon Hunter coming to Dungeons and Dragons real soon. Let's see. Uh, Former President Barack Obama went on record this week and caused a minor amount of nerd freak out as he made a comment that effectively confirmed that aliens are real, but they're not at Area 41 or 51? 51. Um, then he went on to later classify or to state to respond to that he saw no evidence of things that happened during his presidency to make him say that aliens are real. Wink. Um, yeah. Michael Jordan has now won 6 NBA titles as a player and has won his first major title as a NASCAR owner of the Daytona 500. Or NASCAR owner of a team that won the Daytona 500. And there was an iconic photo of Jordan crying over his NBA championship. And like somebody snagged a photo almost exactly the same way of him crying over his uh, NASCAR championship. So the man likes winning. In other news of people winning, Logan Paul, the YouTuber slash WWE star, uh, effectively made $9 million on a Pokemon profit. Logan Paul bought what at the time was the world's most expensive Pokemon card at $5.27 million. Plus, he did that as well as like trading for a $2 million card of the same one. But hey Jarrett, good morning, man. Uh, Logan bought the Pokemon card for almost $6 million. Um, had it made into a gold necklace. Wore it down one of the WrestleManias. Um, but he sold it this past week for $16.492 million. So he bought it for 5.2 million and sold it for 16.4 million. And that's a pretty good turnaround. And now that dude has the world's most expensive Pokemon card. As promised, Logan said that if whoever bought the card, he would fly there in a private jet personally and drop it off. So that happened. He sold his card, and he even on Monday Night Raw, he like was yelling at a fan about it. He's like, "I'm not a loser. I sold a Pokemon card for $16 million." So that's a whole thing. In sad news this week, legendary actor Robert Duvall passed away. He was almost 90. He was 85 years old. Or no, yeah, geez, he was 95 years old. Holy cow. I was like, my math didn't math there. Yeah, he was 95. Way to go, Robert. Um, Stranger Things star slash the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, Maya Hawke, got married this weekend to Lee Houston. They got married over Valentine's Day weekend, and many of the Stranger Things alumni and cast were in attendance. 21 Pilots officially released a song that was a previously a secret song. Uh, that was kind of an epilogue to the Clancy slash Breach albums. The song Drag Path, which was part of their Digital Remains package, um, where you got like a book and some other stuff, was a secret song effectively, but you had to buy that special thing to get it. They released it as a single this week with a different ending and some different beats because they wanted to keep the authenticity of the fact that it was something special for the earlier purchases special. Um, but they also wanted to put the song out because they felt like it needed to. It serves as a nice epilogue musically. Um, People were hoping in because they also announced they were dropping a new music video with it, so people were anticipating slash hoping that they were doing more lore, that they were doing more of their storytelling with it. But they in fact used a decade old stop motion animation independent film uh to make as the music video. So they contacted the original creator of the independent film, said would he put his video to their music. And he did. So there's a neat little rabbit wolf video that takes place. And so I'm never going to complain about 21 Pilots content. I was It's a little anticlimactic just in that I was hoping for something else, but man. Also in that news, 21 Pilots movie slash concert film More Than We Ever Imagined hits theaters this Wednesday in IMAX and then other theaters on Thursday. Uh, just because we live in the world we live in, Jimmy Eat World, the rock punk band, performed at an Arby's in Daytona Beach last week. So they've got the meats and the beats. Uh, DC character Gorilla Grodd, which is a genius gorilla villain with te telepathic powers, is officially been filed for trademark applications that will cover motion pictures, entertainment services, comic books, toys, and apparel. So apparently they're about to drop Gorilla God in a movie coming up. It may be Supergirl, it may be Lanterns, who knows, but Gorilla Grodd will be showing up somewhere in our cinematic near future. Javon Evans, the young man from North Carolina who is currently wrestling as a WWE superstar, uh, will be entering the Elimination Chamber um, next week. And he is the first combatant in the Elimination Chamber to be younger than the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber's first match was on November 17th, 2002, and Javon was born in North Carolina on April 29th, 2004. So he's young, one of the youngest people in the Elimination Chamber period, but also he's the first person to be younger than the actual event he's participating in. I mentioned last week that there was a revival going on at Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida, and it was still going as of Thursday. It lasted more than a week. Hundreds of students have been meeting 24 hours a day in the chapel, worship, prayer, confessing, sleeping on the floor, and just they've been like school shut down. The whole event's been done, and they're just all up in the chapel worshiping, and it's been going on for over a week. Um, I'm gonna say this with all the grace and yeah, let's say grace. I feel like in situations like that, it has to be God because I couldn't do that for a week long. I couldn't stay in a worship service that my heart wasn't in for a week. Like the average church goer, the average church attender is ready to bounce after an hour or less. Um, it's got to be the spirit if you rocking there for 5 days straight. I'm just saying. Like they ain't, I don't hate school enough to stay in church service for 5 days, but good on them. A All right. Eh, Facebook. We're almost there, Facebook. I believe in us. Just trying to get the video back for Facebook, and we should be good to go. There we go. All right. Facebook's back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but we're back and it's all good. There is a mixed martial arts fight that is going to be coming up on Netflix. Uh, and this fight it's already causing controversy. It's going to be something that people are going to have lots to say about, but that's good for Netflix because they'll make money. The mixed martial arts fight is going to be between Ronda Rousey, former MMA champion, former WWE champion, all these things, and Gina Carano. Some of you may know her from The Mandalorian. Some of you may know her from Deadpool. Um, some of you may know her from tweets that got her in trouble and got her canceled and fired by Star Wars. Um, you may know her from different things, but relatively two remotely controversial ladies are about to get into a octagon and beat the snot out of each other. There you go. Cara Dune from Mandalorian, by the way, is her name. But this fight will be live on Netflix on May 16th. So just in time for Mother's Day, exactly what your mom wants. This beatdown. Um, yeah. So Meta slash Facebook has patented an AI program that can run a dead person's account and continue to post and chat on their behalf. It can message and even video call by replicating a user's online behavior and their past data. So, if that's something that sounds great to you, that's terrifying to me. I've lived my life long enough that my Facebook has a good amount of folks that have passed away. When I'm scrolling through Facebook, when I am inviting people to things, when I'm sending out messages, there'll be close to a list of a dozen people who are still Facebook friends of mine who have passed away. And I've just never brought it to myself to delete them. I don't know. There just feels something wrong about unfriending a dead person. Uh, but on that same note, I don't want that dead person FaceTiming me. And I feel like that's really manipulative to have that service where you're paying to have a company recreate a fictional version of your past loved one. I just feel like, good morning. What's up, Adam? I just feel like that's an episode of Black Mirror. That's not something we need to do. I bet like our tech bros watch Black Mirror and just take notes of like, how can I do this? Because this is 100% an episode of Black Mirror. Um, Jinkies. If you've noticed, lots and lots of classic cartoons have been vacating sites like Netflix and Paramount and HBO Max and things like that. Um, well, in March of 2026, almost every cartoon you're looking for is going to be on Tubi, free. From Over the Garden Wall to Warner Brothers cartoons to Nickelodeon cartoons to Cartoon Network cartoons to like DC. Courage the Cowardly Dog, Animaniacs, literally about all the classic cartoons you could want to see are going to be on Tubi for free starting in March. So they're vacating all the other places and going here. So it's a whole weird thing. Civil rights legend and political commentator Jesse Jackson passed away this past week at the age of 84. And he was a presidential candidate at one point. He was a diplomat across the world, and like he hasn't. I know you may not have seen much if you've only been like paying attention to the world in the last 20 years, but he was like on the pulse of a lot for generations. The episode 5 of A Night of Seven Kingdoms, the Game of Thrones prequel series, has now the highest rated episode in TV history. I'm not sure that rating will last, but episode 5 of Night of Seven Kingdoms has the highest rated episode of all time. Currently, and again, these ratings will shift, but currently it's beating out the Breaking Bad finale, which had the highest rated episode of all time. So, see how that sticks. BET has officially canceled Cam Newton's talk show, 106 in Sports, after one season. So Cam's talk show days with BET are over at least. And that doesn't mean he won't continue to host podcasts and stuff, but that's done. Shia LaBeouf had a week in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Um, he Shia has long time had for a long time has struggled with sobriety. He's been clean for a while, but it's always been a struggle. And this past week, he was arrested at Mardi Gras after assaulting people allegedly and saying offensive things allegedly, because not trying to be sued. Um, and with that, he was arrested. He sent out a tweet that just said "Free me," and then he was back on the streets partying within a couple hours, dancing while holding his arrest record in his mouth. Uh, and it's all fun and games to watch a celebrity be bonkers on, the world stage like that, but also this is a person who's struggling with who they are and what's holding their life together. So I'm a pray for my man. I know at one point in time he had said that he had given his life to Christ, but that also doesn't mean you're free from the demons that hold you down sometimes. So, uh, but yeah, he did not have the best week in Mardi Gras. Um, the Atlanta band Paradox, which is an all-black rock band, um, is the first all-black band to chart number one on the Billboard alternative charts. So, note of history there, they're the first all-black band to be number one on the alternative charts. So that's cool. Um, the rapper Project Pat, which is a Christian rapper entertainer, uh, is caused a bit of controversy in Tennessee as he was hired to come in and do a school assembly in Tennessee. And he quoted the Bible and then gave out uh, Bible studies or devotionals to any students that wanted them after the assembly. And the freedom from religious, yeah, freedom from, yeah, there's whatever the organization that is. Um, it said that it violated students' rights because it was a mandatory assembly and that needed to be corrected. And I see that somewhere in this process, I have knocked the power out of my laptop. We got power now. Okay, cool. I didn't want that cutting off, so we already had one breakdown. All right, let's see. Um, Martin Scorsese, who has been a critic of Marvel and things of that nature, in the past, now has lended his voice to Star Wars, as he's playing a character in Mandalorian and Grogu. So Martin Scorsese can, at some point, we're going to see this character saying absolute cinema in a meme if we haven't already. If you are aware, I live in Robeson County, North Carolina, and Robeson County, North Carolina is currently um, being sued by the Southeastern Environmental Law Center for unsafe drinking water in our area. So if you are drinking tap water in Robco, there's a lawsuit going down that says it's not safe. So just be aware that's going down. Also, if you are aware, in my town of Lumberton, North Carolina, the mall, and I say with this with all the love, grace, and you know things that go along with it, the mall has not been the best institution for ever. Um, and almost every not church job I've had has been in that mall, from Walden Books to Bath and Body Works to Tomlinson's. I was the awkward kid that Bath and Body Works, when there was a touch policy required where you had to touch every customer that came in the store. Um, I had to rub lotion on people, and it was weird. Um, yeah. But anyway, Big Spark Mall has broken ground this week, expanding with new stores, including Five Below, Ulta, and some other things that will be coming to Robeson County finally. DoorDash and Hope Mills, North Carolina are looking for a hero DoorDasher this week who saved a family's life. Um, a DoorDash delivery driver in Hope Mills, North Carolina, on February 16th, saved a Hope Mills family's life when she noticed a fire in their home that they didn't. She called 911. She yelled for the family to that their house was on fire. They were able to get out safely. And they didn't notice it because the fire had actually started in their walls, and she could only see it from the outside. And had they not ordered DoorDash, they might not be alive. But she didn't stick around or get a reward or anything like that because she had food to deliver. Um, but they want to reward her and thank her. So if you know of a DoorDasher that reported somebody's house being on fire in Hope Mills, North Carolina, holler at the people because they want to tip her. Um, Godzilla Minus Zero, the sequel to Godzilla Minus One, will be hitting theaters this November 6th and will feature two more kaiju. Um, Elena Myers Taylor, a 41-year-old, has become the oldest Olympic gold medal winner in history. Um, and but she used her platform specifically to give God credit in the process. She states, God put me here for a reason, and I don't think it's to win medals. At the end of the day, I'm in this sport to glorify God. So if that means I came in last place or I win the gold, that's what I'm going to do. So congratulations, Elena Myers Taylor. Um, that's cool. Netflix is officially suing the former owner of TikTok, ByteDance, with immediate litigation, um, based on their new program, Dance, which is an AI which will generate full content based on copywritten properties. So where you can build your own Stranger Things episodes or things like that. And Netflix is going toe to toe with ByteDance / Dance over that. A federal judge this week ordered that the displays and documentation about slavery be put back into a Philadelphia museum after it was removed by the presidential administration. Um, all the displays and documentations about slavery were taken down. Um, and the federal judge says that we can't do this. We can't ignore the history that this is literally like coming out of George Orwell's 1984, and that they have to put the slavery exhibits back, not just not just return them, put them back. uh Mike Wazowski, put that thing back where? Yeah, that whole thing. Pepsi now has probiotic sodas. If you've seen lately, one of the big trends in beverages is probiotic drinks like Poppy and things of that nature, which is basically low-calorie sodas that help you go to the bathroom. Cheers. Here for that. Um, and Pepsi is officially releasing a Pepsi probiotic soda, 30 calories, no artificial sweeteners or something to that effect, and it will help you go potty. U2, because I don't think anybody was waiting on U2 to get in this fight. U2 has officially dropped a 6-song EP about ICE, the uh, government force that's been rounding up illegals and causing drama across political spectrums and murders and the things. Uh, ICE has been obviously one of the most protested things going on in 2026 so far. And U2 has dropped a 6-song EP about ICE. In fact, with one track just about Renee Good. And yeah, so if that interests you, um, that's out there. I don't know how many U2 fans there are going on in the world these days, but U2 has definitely left their mark, and I don't think people have forgiven them for putting that one album on everybody's iPhones yet. So, perks of being an Android user. Um, Chick-fil-A is currently in the process of testing straight up French fries, as in not waffled. Chick-fil-A is testing straight up shoestring French fries, and they're testing waffle sweet potato fries. So whatever that does for you, that could be a potential. They're If you noticed over the last year and a half or so, their waffle fries have tasted different. It's because they're now using this uh pea protein to coat their French fries or their waffle fries, which gives them a different flavor. Um, Forget Tristan says, forget you too. I want to hear the William Shatner new heavy metal album. That's in the notes. That's coming, man. Um, Kirsten, uh, or sorry, Kristen Bell, uh, the former Veronica Mars actress slash Anna from Frozen, has officially been cast as Amy Rose in Sonic 4. So if your kids are asking, Mom, why does Amy sound like Elsa or Anna? It's because she's Anna. There you go. Um, Bad Bunny is set to star in his first feature film. Bad Bunny's been in movies. I really actually enjoyed him in Bullet Train. But Bad Bunny will be starring in a new historical drama called Puerto Rico, not Puerto Rico, but Porto Rico, like Porto Rico. Um, but it's going to star Edward Norton, Javier Bardem, Viggo Mortensen. Um, so he's up there with some heavy hitters. And it's going to be in what is listed as an epic Caribbean Western based on true events about the origins of Puerto Rico. Um, so there you go. That's coming. A unsolved mass. It's not a mass shooting where people were shot, but a mass amount of shots took place in a upscale-ish neighborhood in Raleigh, North Carolina this week. Someone pulled up and fired over 50 rounds into a two-story home in a neighborhood in Raleigh, North Carolina. No one was shot or killed, but over 50 rounds were fired into this place as someone emerged from the woods and started firing. Ex-Prince Andrew was arrested this week for his ties to Jeff Epstein. Yeah, either way, Epstein. As his ties to the Epstein files and all the things that went down with that, he was arrested on the morning of his 66th birthday, and it's the first royal to be arrested in modern history. So there you go. The WWE wrestler Roxanne Perez underwent a surgery to remove a mass from her back this week. Mhm. Big Bang star, Big Bang Theory star, dude who played Raj, I'm gonna get his name right, um, has been using his wealth because he got paid ridiculously well for Big Bang Theory. Not like he shouldn't have, but he got a lot. Um, he has been going through in his free time and just funding people's GoFundMe's that he finds. And he says that money has given me great freedom. and the greatest gift I can give back is to change people's lives. So he told them that he literally just will scroll through. His version of doom scrolling is giving people hope by funding their GoFundMe's. So there's hope for there. The grandson of the founder of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups is up in arms. Brad Reese, of the grandson of Reese's Cups inventor, um, is mad that they have replaced the ingredients. Um, Reese came out last week to complain that the company has replaced milk chocolate with compound coatings and that they've replaced peanut butter with peanut butter style cream across multiple Reese's products. Um, and that it's eroded the Reese's brand and it's jeopardizing uh, consumer trust. So Hershey said sometimes it makes product recipe adjustments to make new shapes, sizes, and innovations. Although it is noted that Reese's peanut butter cups are made the same way they have always been. What's up, Kurt? Good morning, dude. But they're saying that the Reese's products, but not the cups. So other Reese's things might have changed. Now, here's the deal on that same note, and I get if you're the grandson of the Reese's founder, you don't want them to change your grandpa's recipe. Fine, cool. But how like the Reese's footballs and Easter eggs and Christmas trees and stuff like that taste better? It's because they're a different formula. Um, so I'm all for peanut butter and chocolate. But if they taste better, that's another thing. Um, UNC Pembroke, which is a local college in my area, I did college ministry there for 11 years. UNC Pembroke has officially broken a collegiate record in the 1,000 yard freestyle. Um, in the Carolinas Conference record, Britta Schwingle hit NCAA provisional times and set a new conference Carolinas meet record of 1,000 yard freestyle with UNCP swimming to take the lead after their conference championships. She hit the 1,000 yard freestyle um, in 10:19.32. So that's a lot. Um, Kirk says the ratio is better. Yeah, probably. Covered that. Mumford and Sons has a new album out today called Prize Fighter, which features Hozier and a few other things. Um, and it's supposed to be a different vibe and tone for Mumford as a whole. I look forward to getting that and listening to it when I'm done with this. Uh, yeah. William Shatner has announced a heavy metal album, uh, just for you, Tristan, that features Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, and other heavy metal covers. So, if your day was not complete beforehand, now your day is complete because William Shatner is dropping a heavy metal album. Uh, Andy Mineo, let you know how it sounds with Hozier. I don't know that I've ever listened to a Hozier song. I just hear my daughter talk about Hozier. Um, Andy Mineo has done a interview with Forbes magazine on ownership, leverage, and careers in the business of music. So if you check out Andy Mineo's Instagram, he's got a Forbes piece. So congratulations, Andy. Uh, Castlevania is releasing their first 2D, maybe it's not 2D, but they're releasing their first side-scrolling Castlevania game since 2008. Uh, Belmont's Curse or Castlevania Belmont's Curse will release on Xbox, Switch 2, and PS5. Um, yeah. Tristan says that he'll love Shatner's album, not so much his wife. Understandably so. Nobody in my house likes it when I listen to Bob Dylan, so I feel you. Actor Eric Dane has passed away this week. He was known for his role as Mark Sloan, aka McSteamy, on Grey's Anatomy, and Cal Jacobs on Euphoria. He passed away earlier this week due to ALS, and he's been documenting his journey in his decline because he felt like it might help people down the road. There's a new Lego Snoopy set that comes with the full doghouse and Woodstock. It's 89.99 and it's up for pre-order. Hideki Sato, the father of Sega, passed away on February 13th at the age of 75. Who gave us Sega, so appreciate that. Michelle Yeoh, who was before Everything Everywhere All at Once, was a legendary martial artist in her own right, and action star, but who's recently done Everything Everywhere All at Once and the Wicked movies and those things. She got her Hollywood Walk of Fame star this past week. If you aren't aware, there's been tensions this week as the United States and Iran have been gathering in Geneva to negotiate nuclear weapons and things like that. Um, and there's been a lot of tensions. The U.S. has uh Air Force carriers out there in the ocean, and things are getting tense, and they're threatening strikes, and lots of things going on between the U.S. and Iran in terms of tension this week. So that's there. Uh, at the Let me say the name right. I'm gonna say it name, but at an interfaith uh summit, Christian and Muslim traditional leaders have gathered together to speak out against the Nigerian mass shootings and killings and displacements that have been taking place in Nigeria, and are calling for justice and for these communities not to be forgotten. Um, and as I've reported, like every week for like a bunch of weeks, they're like as extremists murdering Christians in Nigeria at alarming rates. And but they actually had leaders of the Muslim community stand with leaders of the Christian community and say, we don't endorse this. This is bad. Um, yeah. Carl and Laura Lentz, the former uh Hillsong leadership folk, are writing a book um on overcoming infidelity. And it will be Overcoming Infidelity, 10 Conversations to Help Heal the Hurt. Which is going to be sharing their journey um, after his affair and offering a roadmap to rebuild trust in relationships that have had affairs. So, um, yeah, I do premarital counseling sometimes. And one of the questions that I always ask out the gate is, what are your deal breakers? And almost everybody's is, you know, cheating. And, you know, there honestly can be a lot worse things sometimes. And that better or worse can really feel like worse some days. So I don't know that this book is going to be for everybody, but if this book helps bring some people some healing after affairs, good. Um yeah. A Episcopal ministry um an Episcopal ministry in has donated $8 million to confront violence against women and girls in hard to reach African countries by mobilizing community leadership, churches, and offering support and hope. So basically, they're putting a thing in place to make sure that rural and small communities in Africa have safeguards to protect young women, which is great. Um, I'm gonna pass by that one. A sinkhole the size of a Walmart opened up in Shanghai this week, um, damaging a large section of road and causing the whole area and infrastructure below it to collapse. It occurred a day after workers discovered a water leak during an evacuation for the GMI Metro line. Even though this hole is the size of a Walmart, no injuries were reported. Cheers. That's a win for China to have a Walmart-sized sinkhole open and nobody get hurt. Um, a young girl named Pim Neal, uh, I think I'm saying her name right, um, is making headlines after she is setting records for Girl Scout cookie orders. This young girl has sold 100,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies, because her parents put her cute little face on TikTok and um where she just put a video out on TikTok and said, "Hi, my name is Pam. Do you want to buy some Girl Scout cookies?" And people are straight up buying all her Girl Scout cookies. So there you go. Mackenzie Scott, the former wife of Amazon owner Jeff Bezos, uh, who and I have a personal tie now to her because she donated $24 million to the college I work at. Um, but Mackenzie Scott donated $7.2 billion in 2025 to nonprofits and charities. But that's more than Elon Musk, Paige Ellison, or her ex-husband Jeff, have donated in their entire lifetimes. Um, so in 1 year, she managed to donate more money um than like all of the world's richest men. Tristan says, "Are they with real Girl Scouts?" To my knowledge, yes, Tristan. But I'm a fake journalist, and so I didn't put that much research into it. Uh China uh has with the company Agibot has programmed a robot, an A3 model robot that they can program with kung fu skills. Y'all, we got enough problems with AI on its own. If you go giving the robots kung fu, we gonna die sooner. Um, but they've developed a programmable um they've made a programmable robot that can literally program different kung fu move skill sets like it's the freaking Matrix. You can watch a video of the AGI bots doing kung fu. Um, we're doomed. Um, yeah. One report states that we are standing on the brink of major Middle Eastern war as the negotiations this week with the Tehran have collapsed over the nuclear red line. Um, the, it was stated that the president is on the verge of greenlighting a massive week-long military campaign against Iran, that could be seen as all-out war. Uh, y'all just be praying because ain't much we can do about this at this point. Eight skiers were found dead after a massive avalanche and collapsed in California. South Korea's former president, Yoon Suk Yeol, has been sentenced to life in prison for leading an insurrection after declaring martial law in 2024. Um, yeah. All right, that's our news, fam, of stuff that's going down. Uh, I mentioned that maybe last week that I had turned in. I don't know if I'd done it last week. Maybe I'm behind, but I turned in the first edited draft of Faith and Fandom bite-sized second breakfast this past week. Maybe it was Monday. So I probably didn't say anything about it because I know I was working on it over the weekend. Um, but yeah, I have handed off a completed rough draft of Bite Size 2 off to be edited, and I have almost nearly just this week have almost nearly doubled the length of the D&D adventure book that I'm writing. Just because I had a slow work week. Um, and once you get to storytelling, it's just fun. I've really loved writing inspirational stuff and encouraging stuff for so many years, but just writing some fun action adventure stuff is it's just kind of it's a good vibe. I'm having fun with it. But I'm also keeping a strong mental backlog of all the Faith and Fandom chapters that I'm going to write as soon as this thing's done. Um, so that's happening. That's coming. I'll be leaving today, um, sometime after lunch to go to Charleston, South Carolina for, um, uh, yeah, leaving today for Charleston, South Carolina for Captain's Comics Expo. I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The show is Saturday and Sunday, but I'm going down there tonight to set up and to walk the giant bridge that connects Charleston to Mount Pleasant. Um, I did do the CCYC Youth Conference last week, and I'm going to record an Artist Alley aftermath of that after this because I haven't done that yet, and I forgot that I need to do things. Um, but yeah, that's announcey stuffs. And then, to my knowledge, after this weekend, I don't have a con until GalaxyCon Richmond. But they announced this week that Geek Church and the Faith and Fandom discussion panel for Richmond are happening. So that's nice because they're making me nervous. So let's see if we can figure out what we're reading today. I moved over to the other half of my desk so I don't have room to pour all these dice out. Well, maybe I do. Here we go. This won't be a S in my R or whatever. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, dice. Uh, fist or rock is Old Testament. Scissors is New Testament. And paper is whole Bible. All right, let's see what we're reading. Whole Bible. All right, so we need 3D20 and a D10. And then we subtract 3, which allows us to have the number 1. Oh, there's 1D20, 2D20, 3D20, and the D10. All right, let's see what our numbers are. All right, we got 10, 5, 10, and 18. So we got 38 plus 5 equals 43. We subtract 3, so we're going to be in Matthew. Awesome. I didn't even have to math on that one. Um, no math in Matthew. Matthew's got at least 28 chapters. How many chapters is Matthew? If you were curious on that, there are 39 books in the Old Testament. If we're reading the 40th book, it's Matthew. That's why that was that. I couldn't have done that with any other random book of the Bible. It was just I happen to know the math on that one. Yep, there are 28 chapters in Matthew. Um, so we are going to roll. There's a D8, but that wouldn't allow for one. So we'll roll a D20 and a D10 and we'll subtract one. All right, we're going to be in Matthew 14. Matthew 14 is our chapter for the day. This might go over a little. Go ahead and write down my little journal. Yo. Oh, we've not done any Matthew on this Joker so far. Dot asked if I have any recommendations on quality Bibles. I normally rock with um an NIV or ESV study journaling Bible, just because it's got notes in the sides. But it's just a hardback journaling Bible. Past that, I don't have any major recommendations. Um, my friend Paul that does sketchy sermons has a sketch Bible that's coming out in on May 12th. Uh yeah, my normal Bible's like in my living room. I just didn't get it, but I'll hold on. I I have one here. I think I might have one here. It's just this one's gonna be beat the daylights. Hold on. That's why I don't use this one. Because I've beat it all to death. But oh, but basically I keep buying this Bible. Um it's size of my head, and on the inside it's got journaling stuff right on both sides. Um yeah, that's about the one that I use on a standard basis. But I also put stickers on my Bible, so I'm not. They're usually Bible appropriate stickers. Like there's one of Aizawa that says "Then perish." Like so, if you don't read it, there's one that says "I read the book and followed the instructions." There's one of a Ninja Turtle whose toes have been stepped on. Uh, just like a little Deku saying, "I'm here." Like I'm excited to actually be doing this. There's Red Hood on the back. Oh my good gracious, I've been bamboozled. You see me in the Lord, we have an understanding. There's just like my little Bible humor stickers. All right. But yeah, that's the Bible I buy and repeat. So the Bible I've got in the living room is literally the same one. Just I'm rough on them and I travel a lot, so the spines break. So maybe not, but for me, they're good. All right, 220. The book is Matthew 14. Um, Tristan says he may have to invest in Sketchy Bible. I did, man. I'm not saying that to complain. I invested in one. It's just one of those like homies helping homies thing. Like my dude, like to be able to actually be commissioned to do the illustrations for the Bible. I'm not gonna not support somebody that gets that position. That's gangster business. Um, you know, I try to support any of the people doing the things, man. And that's just next level. Which by the way, if you go back to the Faith and Fandom Love Thy Nerd um podcasts, Paul from Sketchy Sermons is on one of those Faith and Fandom podcasts. This is long before he had the Bible deal though. Or maybe not, maybe he just wasn't telling me. Um, but still. All right, Matthew 14. This is my other little pocket size. This one's an NLT, but literally wore the edges off of it, but it's got a Entertain My Fate sticker, and then on the back it's got Nightcrawler's Shepherd book, and I read the book and I followed the instructions. Um, But Matthew 14. I might invest in another pocket size one soon, but my eyes are getting old, man. I just got an updated prescription. My eyes haven't changed much, but I'm getting to the point where my doctor is trying hard to sell me bifocals. I'm just not in that place. Not in that place. All right, Matthew 14. Oh, no. We're at the death of John the Baptist. All right. When Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee, heard about Jesus, he said to his advisors, "This must be John the Baptist raised from the dead. Um, that is why he can do such miracles." For Herod had arrested and imprisoned John as a favor to his wife Herodias, the former wife of Herod's brother Philip. John had been telling Herod it is against God's law for you to marry her. Herod wanted to kill John, but he was afraid of a riot because all the people believed John was a prophet. But at a birthday party for Herod, Herodias' daughter performed a dance that greatly pleased him, so he promised with a vow to give her anything she wanted. At her mother's urging, the girl said, "I want the head of John the Baptist on a tray." Freaking serial killer. Then the king regretted what he had said, but because the vow he had made in front of these guests, he issued the necessary orders. So John was beheaded in the prison, and his head was brought on a tray and given to the girl and took it to her mother. Later, John's disciples came for his body and buried it. They went and told Jesus what happened. Woo! Um, as soon as Jesus heard the news, he left in a boat to a remote area to be alone. I love the humanity aspect that Jesus got bad news and wanted to be alone. But the crowds heard where he was headed and followed him from many towns. Jesus saw the huge crowds as he stepped off the boat, and he had compassion on them and healed their sick. That evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages to buy food for themselves." But Jesus said, "That isn't necessary. You feed them." "But we have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here," he said. Then he told the people to sit down on the grass. Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed them. Then breaking the loaves into pieces, and he gave the bread to the disciples, who distributed it to the people. They all ate as much as they wanted, and afterwards the disciples picked up the 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 men were fed that day, in addition to all the women and children. Immediately after this, Jesus insisted that his disciples get back in the boat and cross to the side of the lake when he sent people home. After sending them home, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. Night fell while he was there alone. Meanwhile, the disciples were in trouble far away from land, for a strong wind had risen and they were fighting heavy waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them walking on the water. Just now hitting me, like reading this, that the whole walking on water miracle happened because Jesus just wanted some alone time and he couldn't get any alone time. And I love that. That he wanted some alone time and people showed up, so he took care of the people, and then he had to send his own disciples away so he could get them in it. The whole feeding 5,000, walking on water happened because Jesus was sad and he just wanted some time alone to pray and couldn't get it. When the disciples saw him walking on the water, they were terrified in their fear. They cried out, "It's a ghost." But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid. Take courage. I am here." Sounds like All Might. Um, or All Might sounds like Jesus. Then Peter called to him, "Lord, if it is really you, tell me to come to you walking on the water." "Yes, come," Jesus said. So Peter went out over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Immediately, Jesus reached out and grabbed him. You have so little faith. Jesus said, why did you doubt me? When they climbed back into the boat, the wind stopped. The disciples worshiped him. You really are the Son of God, they exclaimed. After they crossed the lake, the land at Gennesaret, the people recognized Jesus, and the news of his arrival spread quickly throughout the whole area, and soon people were bringing all their sick to be healed. They begged him to let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him were healed. Uh, it's a lot in this one. All right, main passage focus. That's a broad statement. There's a lot of focuses on this one. Read this journal. Um, all right, so the main passage focuses would be death of John the Baptist, uh, feeding of 5,000 plus walking on water, healings, and grief. Who wrote it? Matthew. Who was it written to? The church. Why was it written? Jesus. When was it written? I don't know when Matthew was written. Pretty early. I want to say 50 AD, maybe. Oh, 70 to 80 AD. I was off a few decades. 70 to 80 AD. Passage location. This was in, there's a whole bunch of spaces in here. They're in remote locations. They landed at Gennesaret, but like all over the place. Symbolism present. I don't know. This was heavy on the symbolism. There were miracles present. Um, Miracles, the feeding, the healing, walking on water. Verses that stood out. 13 and 14, that Jesus wanted to be alone with his grief, but he had compassion on the people, even in the middle of his hurting, I think is important. Verse 33, that it took all of that for them to actually say, "You are the Son of God." Still bananas to me. What can I learn from this? Okay. Being faithful doesn't mean you won't get beheaded. It's hard out here in these streets. Um, that it's okay to need a minute in your feelings, that the work doesn't stop because you have feelings. Oh, and just because people just because people have seen doesn't mean that they know. How can I apply this to my life? Um, don't doubt in the face of hardships. Be patient when things are overwhelming, both for you and others. Put your faith in action. Was anything hard to understand? Not really. Um, but I do have empathy for John and his followers because such a unceremonious takedown. Pop culture parallel. Um, okay, bear with me. I know this isn't for everybody. Um, but in 28 years later, um, and I don't want to spoil this. I don't care. I don't know if y'all care. Um, a kid has to deal with the fact his mother passes away, but then is immediately told to go do the work. Um, like and effectively he has to take his mother's remains and climb to a mountain of skulls to put her stuff up. But it's just like kid's not given any time to grieve. He's just got to like get back to it. Um, and that's one of the first things I think of with having to deal with John being dead, because that was Jesus's closest family member. That's what is his mom. One of the only people that actually believed in him out the gate. So that's just a rough place to be. Um, Also, like, and I know it's a standard thing, but The Incredibles, like, he's like, I just saved the world yesterday. Why do I have to keep saving it? Like, I just cleaned this mess. Keep it clean. Um, Jesus literally couldn't go anywhere without more stuff needing to be done. Memeable Bible verse from this passage. I feel like anything with the feeding of the 5,000 and the walking on the water is very memeable. Like you could easily do the um like five loaves and two fishes. Like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Or you could easily do runway stuff or like walking stuff with that. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of material there. What song would be the best soundtrack? Backslide from 21 Pilots um is heavy on the Peter aspect. But I will be on my standard ish and say Weep with Me. Um from Ren Collective would be fire for this. But it's a deep cut, a deep, deep cut. But you need to find the live version, not the studio version. But David Crowder, again, live version, um, has a song called Sometimes, and it is the most heartbreaking worship song I think I've ever heard. I remember playing it for a college retreat, uh, maybe a decade or two ago, because I can say that now. But I was playing it for a college retreat, maybe 2011 or 9 or something, and like playing it and singing it on guitar, and the entire room was weeping, and not just like emotional, just like, oh, this hurts. Um, but like the first line is like sometimes it feels like you'll never be healed. Uh, it's just like, and it's just like a really heartbreaking song, but it ends well, but it literally takes you through the emotional catharsis of struggling through stuff in your faith. So yeah, sometimes David Crowder wrote that. All right. Let's take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for all y'all do. And once I get back from this uh con this weekend, sticker folks, the song is called Sometimes, David Crowder, the live version. It might be from Passion 2006 or something. Um, but Jessica Luttrell, Jackie Kraft, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dorothy Martin Winston, Michelle Stewart, Miss Lynn Turner. I'm gonna see you tomorrow or today. David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, Todd Turner, Zach Harris, John Jacobs. I'm just so used to saying your name there. I know you're working your junk out, bro. I love you. Zach Harris, Caleb Graham, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for taking the time to support, for encourage, for doing all the things that you do. And just means the world to me. And I know that when I get to go out this weekend to do this con and to love on these folks, all of it is because y'all support and encourage the way you do. So thank you for doing what you do and being who you are and encouraging me all along the way. Um, Switch desks, so I had to pull my little card out. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. 3rd John, verse 2. Thank y'all for taking the time to listen and encourage, and I hope to see you all at a con real soon.